I want our black filmmakers to know that being subtle with your social commentary will go a long way. What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Breast Deconstruction, and I'm bringing you my review for Candyman. Candyman is a sequel to the 1992 movie of the same name, and clearly Hollywood is on this trend of giving sequels happening decades later the same name of the original movie. First we had Halloween, and now Candyman. And I wonder what else is going to get a delayed sequel that's going to have the same name as the original. This movie is directed by Nia DaCosta, who also shares co-writing credit with Wynn Rosenfeld and Jordan Peele, who's a producer on the movie. It stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Tiana Paris, Nathan Stewart Jarrett, and Coleman Domingo. We also have cameos by Vanessa Williams, no, not that Vanessa Williams, Virginia Madsen in a voiceover, and Tony Todd. This movie was filmed in 2019 with the release date of June 2020, but the pandemic pushed the date back a few times, and we finally got it this past weekend. Obligatory spoiler warning for the people that haven't seen the movie, as usual. Funny enough, I watched the original on Friday in preparation for my viewing, which was Sunday night. I have a lot to say about this movie. Going in, I was a bit concerned because of what I saw in the trailers. It looked like a possession movie, and details from the original were being changed, and honestly, I didn't like what I was seeing, but I said I'll still check it out for myself because I could be wrong. I wasn't. Not really. First and foremost, the cinematography is great. The movie starts with a really cool opening sequence. In the original, we were gifted with an overhead view of the beautiful city of Chicago. The expressways, the buildings, the high-rises. This movie opens with a similar type of shot, but inverted since it's from the ground level looking up. You see the high-rises leading into a sky that looks like thick fog. It's a really cool opening sequence and creates the proper energy. The only thing that's missing is that Philip Glass score. They shot a lot of kills pretty creatively as well, and had some really good use of mirrors and hiding things in the background. This is unrelated, but I'm intrigued to see how the Captain Marvel sequel is going to look, since Nia is directing that movie as well. The acting by Yahya, Tiana, and Nathan was pretty good too, with Nathan providing levity that didn't ruin the mood of the scenes he was in. Now, Yahya plays Anthony, the baby from the original, who was kidnapped. The story of the first movie is told by way of urban legend about Helen Lyle, the grad student who went on a killing spree in the early 90s. If you've seen the first movie, then you know the details of that particular story are inaccurate, which makes sense. Stories tend to have details added or changed to them over time, sort of like the game Telephone. Anthony is a struggling artist looking for some motivation to break whatever the painter's version of writer's block is, and takes that info that he heard in that story and starts researching it. While doing his research and creating his new piece for an upcoming exhibit, it takes him to what's left of Cabrini Green. Now, to stop myself from running down the entire plot, he finds out about Candyman, gets stung by a bee, and slowly falls down the rabbit hole that leads to him becoming Candyman, because apparently there's a long line of them. It's not quite the possession movie I thought it was going to be, but it's not that far off. This is one of the details that I didn't like, because it seems to be a fumbling of the story they had. I haven't watched the other two sequels, so I'm not sure if the legacy of multiple Candyman is a thing from those movies, but that wasn't the story I was expecting them to tell. In my opinion, there was an easy story to tell about Anthony unknowingly, to him, maybe influenced to us, summoning Candyman, with him coming back to finish what he started in the original and doing everything he did with Helen with Anthony. They also made an odd choice with the kills. While shot creatively, they chose to go the invisible Spectre route, where all the times Candyman killed someone, he was only visible in a mirror. He wasn't physically in the space of the victim. It was an odd choice because for a minute it seemed very obvious that Anthony was killing these people. But then you see someone getting picked up by an invisible man, and it ruins that mystery. In the original, when Helen was caught interacting with Candyman on video, where he wasn't obviously visible, it just looked like she was talking to herself and screaming. She wasn't getting picked up and thrown around the room. Couple that with the optics of her having blackouts and waking up with dead people around her really made her look crazy. It allowed for the argument to be made Candyman wasn't real, and because she dove headfirst into this research, it drove her crazy. The social commentary in this movie was handled by a very heavy hand. They made it a point to make this about racism, of the gentrification of Courtney Green, and white people attacking black people, and them taking our things. That legacy of previous Candymen were all due to racist slayings of black people. And then the ending of the film, which was rushed along with a lot of the third act, was about police brutality. Anthony finally being Candyman and shot and murdered by the cops. And if you're gonna be this heavy-handed, don't have nonsensical shit happen beforehand. Because Coleman Domingo's William, who told Anthony about the legacy and legend of all Candymen, was the one who called the police on him, knowing they'd come and shoot him, which finalizes his transition into Candyman. And they did so while Tiana Paris's Brianna, Anthony's girlfriend, held him in her lap trying to get him help. Because at that point in the movie, he was in pretty bad shape. Make it make sense. Don't have the preachy dude be the one who pulls this shit. His heel turn came completely out of left field, and he legitimately went from acting completely normal to basically a crazed, mustache twirling bad guy. Then they had the cops try to intimidate Brianna into admitting that Anthony charged at the officers. She agrees on the condition that she's able to look into the rearview mirror, where she summons Candyman, who kills all the cops like he's fucking Ghost Rider or something. And we even get reflections from the squad car windows of various iterations of Candyman. And the last thing we see is a de-aged CGI Tony Todd telling Brianna to tell everyone before it abruptly ends. The original had social commentary, don't get me wrong, but it handled it with more nuance and subtlety. I took the first movie being more so about Helen's descent into the legend of Daniel Robitaille's Candyman and the murders that were attached to his name. He only shows up because people didn't think he was real and was saying his name like it was some type of joke. Basically, fuck around and find out. It was also hinted that Helen was the descendant of the white woman he fell in love with that got him murdered. Now, I had an interactive audience in my theater, which made things a bit more fun because they were making the typical horror movie audience comments at different points in the movie. But when that ending happened, one girl actually went, "What?" And there was a bit of confused chatter amongst other moviegoers after it ended. Things could have been handled in a more suitable manner, and better decisions could have been made. And this is a movie of shoulda, coulda, woulda. If I'm rating the movie, I gotta give it a 6. When this was originally announced, I thought it should have been left alone because I thought it was a remake. Then I heard it was a sequel, and I started to get excited because it had potential, and it just turned out so disappointing. And I know movies have been using scenes filmed only for trailers for a while now, but it was interesting to notice some scenes from the trailer being different or just completely left out of the final cut. So anyway, guys, that's my review of Candyman. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out the other videos on the channel. As always, I appreciate the support, whether it's 1, 5, 10, or 100 views. Like the video. Maybe you'll be seeing me from time to time. I tend to only review movies that I constantly think about and have conversations with myself about. If I have questions about why the decisions made for the movie were made, then more likely I'm probably going to do a review for it, which sounds like I'm going to be only reviewing movies that I don't like, which isn't true. It's just if I'm compelled to do so. I mean, I saw Don't Breathe 2 a couple of weeks ago. I didn't really like that, but I didn't feel compelled to make a review for it. I watched The Protege, the week after that. I liked that. Didn't feel the need to do a review for it. So we'll be seeing Shang-Chi. I don't think I'm going to do a review for that one. But who knows? We'll see how it goes. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But anyway, guys, I'll catch up with you later.